Petersburg was anything to go by, he would not have long to pay a visit to the aristocratic family who lived in this neighborhood, before they too might be forced to flee with the other white Russian evacuees. As he rounded the corner into the wealthy boulevard, his heart sank. It was barricaded top and bottom, and manned by drunken soldiers in tattered uniforms, brandishing an assortment of weapons from rifles to pitchforks. Whether loyal to the Reds or Whites, he didn't wait to see, but ducked into a hedge before he was spotted. The sharp twigs clawed at his face and hands as he forced his way through the dense foliage. He emerged into a quiet garden, bathed in light spewing from a dozen windows. This was 67 Ulitsa Ostezhenka, home to a family with Romanov connections and, if the intelligence he'd received was correct, keeper of one of the prized Faberge eggs. The royal family had been under arrest on the outskirts of St. Petersburg since February, and their previous residence, the Winter Palace, was now guarded by forces loyal to the Duma, the new Russian parliament. Aides to the Tsar and Tsarina had managed to smuggle out the cream of the palace's treasures and had placed them with various treasure keepers. Rumours abounded that the family at 67 Ulitsa Ostezhenka was one of them. It was a dangerous task, and the man in the bearskin coat feared for their safety. 2 years had passed since he had last been at the house, and he wondered if the French window overlooking the herb patch still had a loose catch. It did. With a little jiggle, he silently slipped into the conservatory. Very little had changed. There were the same wicker chairs and pot plants, the teak card table with the decoupage embellishment, the silver tea trolley and white tiled floor. As expected, at this time of night, the room was empty. The family, if at home, should be in the upstairs drawing room having their post-supper coffee. But he couldn't guarantee it. Not with the children. And the servants, of course, could be anywhere. That is, if they had not already deserted the family. The Bolsheviks promised the world to the serving classes, and he had heard tales of once faithful butlers and parlourmaids turning on their employers. Loyalty could not be guaranteed, and if the soldiers on the boulevard decided to break in and loot the place, they might not meet much resistance. He ran his thumb over the secret catch on his cane and slipped from the conservatory into the hall. Down the hall, to his relief, he could see the front door was securely bolted shut, but there were other doors to the residence. He stopped to listen, murmurings from downstairs, but nothing above. He mounted the stairs. His destination was the first-floor library where, he had been told, the family had secretly installed a new safe since his last visit 2 years before. Apparently not even the servants knew its whereabouts, but since his informant was the very person who had installed the safe, the man in the bearskin coat was confident he could find it. He heard peals of laughter from downstairs. He paused, his hand on the doorknob. When he was certain the voices were not coming any closer, he slipped into the library and closed the door behind him. The room was dark, the bookcases hulking giants around him. Unwilling to turn up a gaslight, he edged his way around the room until he reached the window. He pulled back the drapes, enough to allow a shaft of moonlight into the library, until the bookcases softened their natural form. He could now see enough to differentiate furniture from wall, and through the silver glow located the Rembrandt he had been looking for. He paused again, listening, but all he could hear was his own breathing and the tick-tock of the library clock. He unhooked the painting and propped it up on a nearby sofa, pausing a moment to ensure the masterpiece did not slip onto the floor. Then he turned his attention to the safe. It was a 1915 York safe and lock. He had broken into many security devices in his career, and for a man of his considerable talent, the York was not the most complicated. It did not take him long to crack the code. Inside were an assortment of jewels, bundles of cash, and the object of his search, an ornately jewelled egg, given to Queen Maria Fedorovna by her husband Alexander II. He pulled out an oilskin from his